Where are you right now?
Over at the office, over by Neil. Oh, okay. Okay. So here, got my snack, and voila. What's good, man? How are you, Nate?
Good, good. Just got back from RubyConf.
Oh, you did? You went out there?
Yeah, yeah, I had a talk.
You did?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I gave a talk on mini test.
You know, you know that's so crazy. God, mini test has come back into my life. I'm so kind of happy about it too. I just completely reworked the gym, had like 100 and some odd tests, and just switched over to mini test. Found a couple of neat tricks too. Mini test expects, which
Yeah.
probably needs a little bit of work because there's a few expectations that are missing. But then I also found a mini test focus. There's maybe I don't know. I think mini test focus they have one, but you need a good. I've been looking for a good focuser if you have one. So like in our
Well, mini test actually takes a command line option
yeah
to
dash
yeah, to focus on anything you want. So I don't know.
Yes. So here's the iteration, right? This is the maybe I'll have to look in guard mini test to see, or guard RSpec to see how they do it. But the goal is, say if I'm within oh right, okay. It was two situations because the first situation I thought it was is that I was in a test and it would only run the test, but that's not that. Guard would run the whole entire file. What I'm looking for is like to do a dot only in JavaScript land, or like a like a focus meta tag from mini test. Do you have
Yeah.
any ideas? Like if I want to focus on
Uh,
one single test.
yeah, the mini test way to do it is to use the command line option to filter on the method name.
So what happens if I'm using guard?
If you're using guard, how would guard know which test to run? Oh, right. Yeah, now I see the problem. Yeah, and RSpec you have focus sort of like on the example. Uh,
Exactly.
that's a good question. I don't know the way to do that. I don't use guard anymore, so I wouldn't know.
Right. So you just run the test like whenever you want to save and just go and run it yourself, or you probably use something else to run it. Yeah, that's right. You don't have to use guard. You could just you can even run it from within Vim if you really wanted to.
Yeah, or I just run the. Yeah, I've never. My test files, I guess, are not. Yeah, big enough. Since I don't use guard, I've never like had that particular problem because I can just use the filter if I'm working on a particular
Right.
test.
And I guess my situation is I'm working on a application for fintech, and I'm in the process of building a an XML application file. So you could just imagine how many elements and tests and variables there are trying to pretty much wrap tests around a WSDL generation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the test file's up to, it's not too bad. I mean, the actual test file's up to about 300 or 400 lines now. Unfortunately, I don't
Well,
I don't remember the last time I had a test file that long actually.
it's just Ruby, so you can refactor it any other way you would refactor a normal Ruby class.
Touche, mofo, touche.
That was like part of my talk was like, it's just Ruby, so any pain that you feel using mini tests is really just pain that you're experiencing like as a Rubyist. Like there's like I didn't know how singleton methods worked before I used mini tests. So I started my talk off with a story about like how I wanted to stub an instance method in mini tests. And like RSpec mocks gives you a way to do that, and I was like, oh, this is dumb. Minitest doesn't give you a way to do this like RSpec does. And then I asked about that in a Minitest IRC channel, and they said, oh yeah, you can just use a singleton instance, singleton method. And I was like
Yeah.
learn about what singleton methods were. So
Yeah.
there's like a whole like. That's why I wanted to give that talk, was because there's like all this pain that I've experienced using Minitest that has forced me to become a better Rubyist.
You're right, man. I wanted to take a look at something here real quick and look at some fuckery real quick. So there's
Oh, look at that little focus method. That's cute.
But you can dig it.
So what does that look like in practice then?
What it looks like in practice is it might hurt your eyes a little bit, but you would say do something like this,
Oh, sure.
and there you have it. But you wouldn't be able to do it on multiple tests. That's the only caveat.
You could probably rewrite it so that it was like a block, right? Like
Exactly.
focus on everything in this block.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, so nice. You're not throwing up in your mouth when you see this, so that's pretty cool.
Whatever gets it done.
Yeah, I just wrote that like just yesterday, so it's kind of interesting you talk to
I
me.
see what you mean though by like wanting to do that the old RSpec way of like in the test.
Yeah, right. Because it's like even in JavaScript with Mocha, they give I get that guy, right?
Oh, sure.
You know, but again, this is not JavaScript, of
Yeah,
course.
I think maybe you could look at the way it is implemented and like re-implement it as focus and make that in addition to all the things it does, make it also run only that test.
One last question: would you have it? Would the API be it.focus and describe.focus, or would it just be focus and replacing of it and focus and replacing of describe?
I don't think there would be a way to do it.focus. I think you'd have to, or there might be a way to like just override it and give it an option. So you might be able to do it exists, comma, focus true do. That syntax is probably possible. If you the it method is really simple. It's like 10 lines. It's not that hard to understand.
Yeah, I know. The actual, I loved it. It's only 6 files. I mean, at least when I looked at it 2 years ago, but that mini test was only like
It's
6
the same.
files.
It's the same. It hasn't changed.
So cool, man. Well, enough of that. Thanks. You helped me out a ton. So what's on your mind, brother?
Whoa! I just saw infinity. So I just wanted to have like so for us to kind of come up with an agenda, I guess, for how we're gonna run project night, and then once we've decided on that, one of us can go update the meetup description with a little bit more of an accurate description of what we want to do.
Okay, that's cool. Just to, oh my God, hold on, I'm getting a call while I'm in the call.
No problem.
Crazy. Wait a minute, let's see here. Okay. Okay, awesome. So what? First things first, I want to say. First things first, I want to say there was great stuff with the last Ruby meetup. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Huh? Yeah.
How do you want to store cash? Or do you want to
We'll talk about that later, man.
All right, just tell me.
Just go over here.
Tell me.
I'll tell you after the meetup. Is that okay? Or I'm at a conference.
I'm gonna run right now.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be in tomorrow.
Okay, we'll talk. Okay.
Just
I'll slack you.
email me.
You got it. Just as long as you got that, man. That's all that matters.
Appreciate it.
Love you, bro. Come on, man. True story. Hello? Yeah, I actually, I got, if you look over here, I got my buddy just got a pair of the most coveted shoes. That's a nil right there getting his, oops, I didn't do it. Oops, let me see your stuff here. Oops. Yeah, that's a nil over there. Look at him getting his Yeezys, Jonathan. You see that mess over there? Look at him, like a rat in some cheese. Yeah, a nil, hold him up. Like a rat with some cheese, man. Yeah, those shits are, they stay retail for $200. They're reselling on eBay right now for $1,000. They sold out 2 minutes.
Wow.
Crazy, man. Yeah, I love being a hacker, man. That it's amazing the discounts you get. But so I think we did amazing for the last one. If you know what one of the things that I kind of have seen go successful is I learned it at SoundCloud. Is when you look back and you say you don't want to say like what went good and what went bad, but what do we want to do more, do less of, or like get better at from the last one and then iterate onto the next one. You know, and it's really a simple thought, but it's always just like some progress or reflection. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And since you have done probably more of these than I have, then maybe you can sort of point in that direction, and then we can go and implement on the next one, you know, and have a little meetup refactor, if you will.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do again, or I guess more of, is moving like our I guess I don't know how you want to phrase it, like our announcement of job openings, or like our who's hiring, who's being hired discussion. I liked moving that to the very end. I'm moving our hiring.
I'm probably the fastest one we've ever done, at least in the meetup.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time. I mean, like, you know, I'm sure only 50% of the audience tops is like either hiring or looking for a job. So like what are the other 50% supposed to do during that time? You know, just like sit there and like be bored out of their skull. So I think and just moving it to the end made it, I think, a lot more effective of people not having to remember, like, oh, did you put your hand up? Oh, I don't really remember. I just eliminated all of that. So yeah, I think moving it to the end is.
And also too, because once they talk to, it's like weird, because what I noticed before, people would talk about it, and then they'd sit down, and then this huge technical space would actually come out of nowhere, and then it's like people would just be like, well, I don't even remember who was hiring, because I don't even remember what people were talking about just now. So it's like, you know, within the context of, I just said that I'm looking for someone, or I'm looking for a job. Now you guys go link up.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to leave, the other 50% can just take off.
Right.
Awesome. So I think that went well for sure. What do you think we can? One thing I think we do better at is, what do you think we can do as far as for the early technical difficulty? So it's not that it was too prohibitive, but it's like if it's like we were kind of fixing the woman's machine, probably like 5, while she should have been probably 5 minutes into her talkish.
Yeah.
So is that a matter of, do we, you know, we don't want to necessarily say, oh, well, announcers or people who are speaking get there earlier, because I don't think they were there too late, but it's like it was a little bit pushing it for technical difficulties, you know what I mean? So what do you recommend in that regard?
I don't know, we could ask people to bring like pretty much anything that anyone will make slides in can go to PDF nowadays, right? So we could ask people to provide a PDF or to come with a PDF in case something doesn't work.
Oh, I see. So basically, always have a backup.
Yeah, right. Because I know like DexSet that I use exports to PDF. I'm sure PowerPoint does. I'm sure Keynote does. Because you can always just email a PDF to someone else's computer.
That's
I don't know
true.
if that really saves you. I don't really remember. I remember like how something was like weird with her computer and it delayed us by 5 minutes. Like I don't remember when she got up there and started like trying to get that to work.
It was like 15 minutes into the meetup, if I recall. I think the clock was at 14 when she kind of got it going, and then it kind of went out again.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought we had asked her to like get up and figure that out. I've always asked speakers that.
Well, she did.
We've never had a problem with speakers like arriving at 7 o'clock or later. They always get there early.
Right.
You know, we can ask people, but it's never been a problem. And I've always asked speakers, when I find them, to go and put their slides up in the projector to test the setup.
Of course, and we did that too.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything I don't really remember if there's anything we should do differently there.
Well, you know what? An answer to that probably is we shouldn't do anything different. It's the fact that, you know, we're just aware of it, and that's pretty. Sometimes.
Yeah, make sure that we're on.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you can really do, right?
Yep.
Because we wanna have a fun meetup, not like have a Gestapo.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like it's still a user group at the end of the day. Like I don't want to ask people to like send me their slides 24 hours before and like get really, kind of uptight about it. It's not really the point of NYCRB. So I think that was the first time something like that's happened as long as I've been organizing the meetup. So
okay, well that's
just
cool.
making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing with getting speakers to try their setups beforehand is I guess we just stay the course.
That sounds great, man. So next, there's one thing that I want to bring up as far as with new members. So in the past 3 weeks, there's been in my inboxes there's been like there were 7 one, 2 the previous, and 3 this past week. Do we? I know it's a large group, but that number is still fairly manageable. Do we do any nice things like as far as like do we individually greet people, or you might even be like say that's a good idea or that's ludicrous because that could get unwieldy very quickly, or is it even necessary? I just always think about things like that from previous meetup groups that I've organized and such. So what are your thoughts on there? Or just let them join and go from there?
Because we enjoy the position, I think, of being the most popular and largest Ruby-related group for New York City on Meetup, I think we have a lot of people that join and they never show up. I mean, if all 4,000 people in the Meetup showed up every month, right, it would be a quite larger Meetup. But I like the idea of identifying new first-timers at NYCRB at the Meetup itself and doing something for them.
I love that idea. I
don't know what you do, but I mean, it could be just as simple as saying, first timers, put your hands up. Hey, thanks for coming.
Well, I'll do you one even better. You tell me what you think about this. When I teach classes at NYU, Engine Yard actually usually quote-unquote sponsors them by just tossing a ton of swag. So maybe it could be a swag giveaway, just like from and I definitely can at least get the first meetups out of the way as far as things to pass out, like T-shirts and keychains.
Yeah. I mean, we get people meetup messaging us all the time asking to sponsor, and I never had a good outlet for them because they always want to have where their office be the place we hold the meetup, and we don't have a location problem right now. So I always they always pay for pizza too, so it's like, well, I don't really know what a good sponsor inroad is for you. I don't want to turn away free stuff. I have nothing against meetup sponsorship, so that might be a good good inroad.
Yeah, so I like that. So recognizing. Oh, nice. And even if it's just as simple as turn around and shake that person's hand, just to welcome them, that's good enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. I think that's a nice touch too. Because a lot of people are just really overwhelmed. It's like if I hear one more time of someone I meet that's just like, let me tell you one more thing on why I'm going to down myself, why I'm worse than everybody else who's in here, and it's really because they just have the perception of not knowing anything, and oftentimes that's just really they just don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So that's cool there. Awesome. So that handles that kills 2 birds with 1 stone, because one of the things that I was looking at was for awesome. So I'll send a message out to Andrea right there, and that'll be cool there. We should know back before the end of the week in that regards to engine yard stuff, and I'll just even tap Tom on the shoulder or something to tell him to send a box out our way. Because if you look at it that way, if there's on average 15 or so people who join a meetup over the course of in between meetups, maybe 15, 20, or 30, then that's something that's manageable. If there was 300 people and there was a churn, then that wouldn't be a good idea. You'd probably just tell them to stand up and say what's up and look for another meetup space because we're probably Okay, so what's next, homie?
We got to set the agenda for next month.
Okay, so cool. Let's set the agenda for next month. That is we talked about project night, right? And how do we sort of want to paint this picture with Project Night? Because so we have alternatives for people who don't have a project that might show up, or I guess what are the different edge cases? There's people who have projects that they want to work on them, people who have projects they want to work on with other people, people who don't want to work on a project at all. And I think everybody, for the most part, can fill into one of those buckets.
Okay.
So that's people who have a project that they want to work on, people who have people who don't have a project and they want to work on a project, and people who are there, I guess, just to hack on their own projects by themselves. But I think that we probably shouldn't encourage that one.
Right.
Because if they wanted to do that, they could really stay home and do that. No.
Right.
We want to really have it like because I was thinking we want to have it like as collaborative and communicative as we can.
Yeah, I agree.
I was going to say, is there any incentive? But damn it, if pizza and beer isn't enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you break it down like that, then I guess each project can, I don't know, have a lightning talk about their project. I was thinking maybe before, but then that makes people be under a little bit of pressure. Maybe that's a good or a bad thing, but definitely after hacking on a project for X amount of time, just have people come up and talk about their discoveries or how they feel. I mean, it really doesn't have to be more complex than that.
We have to get people into groups somehow, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they have time to work, and then we have some kind of wrap up, which we think is going to involve some kind of like lightning, like.
Well, so if we get people into the groups,
2-minute.
If we get people into the groups, we probably have to dictate more so what the projects were in that case, because then you can actually like round up the herd into buckets.
What do you mean by that?
Well, so like if I came to Ruby Meetup with the project, I might be working on a project for X, Y, and Z, but it could be a space that let's say I'm working on celluloid, right? And then it's like that may totally overwhelm a ton of people. Like they probably don't even understand what threads are within a programming language.
Let me just phrase it this way. So it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's the typical NYCRB thing where everyone's sitting in those chairs. What do we do next?
Uh-huh. Okay, that's a great question. So you're right.
They're all sitting there. Now what do you do?
How do you start it off and get them into the groups? I see. Under the message under the chairs is kind of corny and definitely not scalable. Let's see here. Well, the first thing you say is who's got a project to work on? Who's got a project that they need help on? That's a key because everybody likes helping. So how many people have a project that they need help on? And I kind of am a fan of side projects actually because everybody's got a side project.
Right. So that's free. I guess I felt it's pretty like. The kinds of things that people should be bringing to Project Night. What are the sorts of things that you've already said a few, but
a new gym, a gym you've never played with before. Well, that's interesting. Like, what if you did actually have some different areas? I guess have people who have projects already that need help. That's one set. That'll take care of the people who want to work on a project and don't have a project, and the people who have a project and need help on a project. And I think there's one other bucket of, I think with the one, there could be some people that kind of like don't know where they want to go or don't have a project they want to work on, and that we can have a backup by having a handful of different. What are those things called? Easter egg hunts or something like that. No, I guess it wouldn't be that, but go play with a gym you've never played with before, or see if you can make two gyms talk to one another and using just plain Ruby or something like that. and we can have like 5 different tasks for groups of people to do, and then people can just pick whatever group they sort of want to herd towards. So, well, like I have a gym I've never played with before, and they don't have to like even work with one another. They could just be people who are doing the same task. So the same task meaning we're both trying to make gyms work that we've never used before, but we're both trying to use 2 different gyms. Just some ideas. That's the first thing that I'm thinking of as far as taking care of people who have projects, people who don't have projects, and people who would rather not work on a project but would want to work on something.
Right.
But definitely side projects is the nomenclature that we want to use because project seems a little too overwhelming. Perception is reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just gotta kind of ask people to like put their hands up if they brought something they want to work on, and then what? Do we want everyone to like briefly describe what they want to do?
Right. I guess that would be determined on how many people actually put their hands up.
What is that?
Well, that depends on how many people put their hands up, because we don't want to. You don't want them to think too much. It's just, it's supposed to be a friendly little meetup, right?
Yeah.
And have a few defaults that we can have, where it's like um, pick a gym you've never worked on, or even have a few people program the game of life. That's a fairly intermediate to beginner to even advanced sort of task, because so then that's something that's a game. There's something that's a challenge, which is you've never used this gym before. And there could be something that could be timed, who knows? But that one I'm not too sure about. But I'm sure that's a late option if we need to, and that takes care of the people who aren't project based.
What if we frame it like people that have, I don't know, like some kind of like skill they want to share, or almost like workshop that they want to lead? Like, what if I want to like just?
I like that.
Say, hey, like if people want to work on mini tests for an hour, like I know a little bit about mini tests. Why don't you come talk? Like, why don't we come to me with your mini test questions?
Oh, I like that. Honestly speaking, I like that better than the majority of everything that we've said thus far, to be honest with you. Because that everybody's got one little area that they shine, and I think that's one of the things that's really the nut that we've been trying to crack for NYC.RB for even years, is to really find that one thing that a person's good at, because we're all good at something, even if somebody's good at string interpolation, let them shine for that, give them their little couple of minutes of fame, and not even that, even more than that, to have a little, have a little crowd around them to have them talk about what they want to do.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like that, Nathan. That's pretty good. It's organic too. That's exactly what just happened here when we got on the call and you blessed me with that mini test stuff.
Yeah. Okay, you brought up an idea the last time we talked about this, that like there would be some sort of like mandatory or encouraged switching between projects at certain time intervals.
Right.
How do you feel about that now?
I do like it. It's I think it should be almost similar to like speed dating, to where it's like you don't have to necessarily go, but you can if once the buzzer rings.
How often?
So it's a 2 hour time, 4 pomodoros. Pomodoros 25 minutes, 5 minute break, 4 pomodoros. That's four sessions, 30 minutes each.
We start at 7. Should probably actually go with like 3, just because we're gonna have to leave time for wrap up, right? I mean,
Right. So that's
gonna add up.
Yeah, let's do 3. We'll start off at like 7:15.
We'll be able to know like once we get there about how many groups there are, and so therefore like how many presentations we have to plan for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No slides allowed. People just have to.
No slides allowed.
I have time to screw around with everybody's laptops.
I like that. I like that actually. I like it a lot. Yeah, because then that allowed, like, so if I'm there, I might want to work on a project, but I might want to go get, a little bit of help on this mini testing over here from my boy Nate.
Yeah.
And there's all, humans are interesting. Is sometimes you have to ring a bell or something to make a move. I'm sure you've seen that with the gong.
Yeah. People need a social reason for it to be like okay to get up and leave.
Exactly. So yeah, that's a perfect example right there. We got the gong, man. We have the gong show. We call it the gong show. Oh man.
Got it.
Yeah, 3 is much better too, so that way it's not as rushed and tight.
Yeah. All right, this is looking pretty good now.
Yeah, I like it. That look pretty decent, right? Hands up for projects, right? Time to work. No slides allowed. I like that. So what is it? When do you do the lightnings? Do you sort of do the I guess when do you give time for even the lightnings? Like one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting, and I had the same idea for the SAS meetup. I go to the SAS meetup often, and when they do project night, they'll break off into groups, and then somebody who just discovered something or whatever, they'll just get up and give a couple of minutes talk, and it's like half of the people will be writing SAS, the other half will be watching, some will be eating pizza. How do we really want to squeeze in the lightning talks? Because there probably will be, I guesstimate, 5 to 10 of them, and that's a speculation.
Yeah, I was just I don't think we need to require every group to get up if we have a group of total introverts that doesn't have anything they want to say. That's fine. In my head it was like at 8:30 or whatever. We would ask everyone to go sit back down. Where where we normally have the meetup, and sort of like pencils down. Stop working, close your laptops, and I would probably have I would go to each group beforehand and ask them if they wanted to present, and then grab the person that wanted to do it, and then just have them all stand up sort of by the front, but like not in front, like in a line, and so there's like a queue of them, of all 5 or 10 or whatever, so we can just do really quick, like one after the other.
That's cool. That's
what I was imagining in my head.
So I like that a lot. And then on the flip side of the coin, how can we use those lightning talks, I guess, to encourage people to come and sit in on their project for a bit? So then what I was thinking here is, like, say if we do have a situation where there's people who do say, oh, I'm really good at this thing, or I want to do this project, would you do it closer to the beginning so people have an idea of what they're getting into, or would you really just save that to the end? Should we save that to the end?
I'm not sure what you mean. Like, what's the alternative you're
so
proposing?
So it's there's two sides. There's say, hey, I got a project I want to work on mini tests, and then you and I go off, and then after half an hour to an hour, whatever interval, then we stand up and say, here was what we learned. That's one side of things, and that's with two people who are working on a project that they have unknowns. But then what about the person who's an expert already to give something, and then they'd want to be able to expose what they are an expert at for a couple of minutes, and then I guess herd up the people who are even interested in that thing. So that means that I guess if they're talking about what they're an expert in, that would be more towards the beginning than the end. And how would we paint that picture, or are we overthinking it?
Yeah, I see. I thought that's kind of what I thought people would do when we had them raise their hands and like explain what they wanted to work on in a sentence or two.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's perfect. That satisfies that. Perfect.
That's kind of what I was expecting to satisfy that,
awesome.
that requirement.
That's exactly we're on the same page, and that's good. And we get people who are good at what they know talking about that first, and then the people who have the discoveries talking about that towards the end.
And the other nice thing about doing this switch every 30 minutes is that I anticipate, especially with maybe some of the like more expertise sharing groups, I would expect that maybe some of them peter out after like 30 minutes. Yeah. And that's like okay. So like people like that we've established this like social thing that like it's okay to switch between groups and it's gonna happen a lot. We're not forcing it, but like we're encouraging it. People are gonna be like okay with that. Okay, well, if this doesn't last the full hour and a half, it's fine. Like we'll just go do something else.
Exactly, and the people who want to slide out.
And I think you and me are gonna have a lot of work to do, sort of like as this is all going on. Like going between group to group and making sure everything's like kind of moving along and finding those people that are like off on their own or are like confused, like don't know where to go next, and like finding them a place to slot in, or like grabbing groups that are like kind of flailing around and saying like, hey, all four of you are newbies. Why don't you go try to solve some stuff from Project Euler or whatever, Right. We're gonna have to kind of be like roaming around to make sure everyone's having a good time.
Well, I kind of like that idea. It's did you know? You remember those shows? I don't know. You might not have mentioned back in the day from I think it was Comedy Central, where it'd be like American Ninja Warrior, but it was Japanese, and they would
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Yes.
You might see, dog. This show is hilarious.
Awesome. So you remember how like they would have people like going out in the field getting their ass kicked, and they would like interview their teammate while they were like going through the field and stuff, and they were like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And what do you think about this and all of that stuff? Like, when we're walking around, I mean, I think that it can be. We don't want to enforce anything, but I think it'd be good to like have just pop in on a group and say, hey, what'd you just learn here? And then like other groups are working and that person can be talking, and that's perfectly fine. It's just a lot of talking and slight chaos, if you will, because it should be. It's a project, right?
Yeah.
No, so I got the picture all in my head already laid out. So that's really good because I don't think there's any question marks.
Yep, I agree.
Awesome.
So I think the only thing that has to happen is one of us needs to turn this into like a better. Well, let's look at the meetup description now. Maybe it's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that people come prepared. And have thought about this before they show up. Let's pull this up here. Okay. Yeah, I just want to be a little bit clearer and like provide some more ideas around what's an acceptable thing acceptable thing to bring to work on, right?
Right. Okay.
Let's do it now.
Yep. Let's just do it now. We don't have to think about it then.
Paste this in. Because I think it automatically sends this out as when we get all the RSVPs is when this meetup gets announced in an email, which I think happens a week before.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh
people will
man,
see this then.
look at you, Nate. Appreciate it, man. My name's up on there. I'm proud of that.
I thought you would have. Yeah, I added you like right after the last meetup.
Chill, hey man, fill it all. I appreciate seeing it on your screen, bro.
All right. Kind of weird formatting, but whatever. What are cool gems that people wish they knew more about?
Uh, how about Rails? You'd be
Oh no
surprised.
no no! We gotta like okay Rails. All right, Cuba. What are the other hipster micro frameworks?
Mini test.
Minitest.
This is true. This is very true. I
All
think
right.
mini test is about as hipster as you can get, actually. Aaron would probably tell you got to get your mustache game up going for that. Something you maintain or contribute to. Need help on open source project you're involved with. All right.
Uh,
Side projects. Nice.
I'm trying to like when I say side projects, I guess maybe I don't want to encourage that. I just
What's your
remember that guy that posted on the um, the list, the discussion list. He's clearly like a very new, fresh kid
yeah?
that he like it was like some social network for whatever, and
Uh-huh.
he did it in Rails, and but I don't know if I want to like encourage people, you know, to like some interesting side project and like project I want to make money on, you know.
Yes, this is true.
So I don't know a better way to describe side project.
Well, mix both of them into the same because we want to satisfy both the people who. Well, there's two types of people. There's the people who like bust their butt writing code all day long and wish that they could work on side projects, and then there's the people who, like really have a side project, but it's in their eyes it's their next biggest money making idea. So how do we sort of fuse
Yeah.
those two people together? Is the real question.
All right. That's pretty good.
We can make it even a
Oh,
little.
you know what's another good idea is like a new language like that you might want to try.
Now that I like. You can stick out elixir. You can all types of things.
Cool ones that people like.
Go. Nice. What's Christ? Christs?
Crystal?
Yeah, what's that?
It's explicitly intended to be Ruby-like syntax, and I forget the name of or like what VM it runs on. Crystal language. I've seen it talked about on the Ruby Rogues list. I guess maybe they have their own VM. It's supposed to be like fast Ruby, basically. Ruby inspired. That's what it's been sold as,
Oh,
anyway.
really? Ruby
Yeah.
inspired, huh?
Yep.
Huh. Pretty cool. We had learned something new already. See? So let's see what we got here. Join NYC for semi-structured night of hacking. Ever program Conway's Game of Life? Want to try a new micro framework? Have an open source issue you want some help with? Ever want to try a new micro framework or language? Have an open source issue you want some help with? All projects, large or small, are welcome. Here are some ideas. Um, it seems like we're duplicating what the synopsis is in the actual thing. So maybe that's a good thing. We're just expounding upon them for sure. But I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
this doesn't really work if well,
yeah,
like
right.
if like we show up and like two people raise their hands, right? Like I'm trying to I'm deliberately sort of like shotgun blasting here to like make any possible neuron fire for people.
I see. I like it. I get where you're going with that. I see what you did there. A new gym you've never used before: Celluloid, Rails, Cuba, Lotus, Mini Test. I have a narcissistic request. Can we put Rails last?
Rails what?
Last.
Rails. Oh, last. Okay.
That's a personal request. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Need help on open source software project? You're on an open. Would it be an open source? I mean, maybe
I would. Yes.
Pedantic. You're involved with something you maintain or contribute to. Side projects, fun Ruby things you've hacked together. Side projects probably could do a touch better, but it's good enough for now. Expertise you want to share or discuss. Run a mini workshop or have a discussion group on a Ruby topic.
Oh, you know what? I got another idea. It'd be fun if people brought hardware.
Boom. And there you have it.
What was the hell is that vacuum that people programmed Ruby on?
I don't know the answer to that. I just know your typical Arduinos and Cherry.
What's that thing called? Oh, Roomba. Yeah, Arduino,
Cherry Pie,
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. And that's cool.
I think I got a Raspberry Pi sitting around here somewhere I could bring.
Nice, that's really cool. What's that one little ball that you program and it has lights on it and all that stuff?
A ball that you program? I don't know. I've never heard of such a thing.
Oh yeah, I won one at LA RubyConf. The shirt I'm wearing right now, and I actually gave it to my to a guy that I was like mentoring, and I was like, "Here, man, it's yours." Apparently, it's like this ball. It like lights this fluorescent ball that like you control it with your iPhone, and it like rolls all over the place, even over carpets and everything, man. It's. I'll have to ask George what that is. I'll send it to you, man. It's pretty cool, actually. Kind of wish I didn't give it away, but what are you gonna do? And I think that sounds pretty good. And be fueled by free pizza and drinks. So how can you refuse? Let's see here. Is there any actionable? Oh, bring a brain teaser. Those are the actionable things. Nice. I was saying because you got to tell them what to do. One thing I've learned is you always have to.
Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking that at the end here. It's just like, how do you sum that all up as like here's all the ideas I just gave you. Now pick one of them and bring it. I don't know. How do you phrase that?
Let's see here. I'll pick your forehead. Oh. Wait a minute. Are you ready? Are you ready, Nate?
I'm ready.
'Tis the season to be pairing.
Haha.
Waka waka. Nice. Oh, snap. Pretty cool.
I'm trying to think of another Christmas pun. That's good enough.
Nice. That's perfect. Exclamation point. Boom. Tells him to do something. That's what works. That's pretty good, man. So let's see. They've worked on side projects. Yeah, this is good enough. That's probably actually one of the.
You can always you have meetup. You have you know, you're an organizer now, so you can just come in here and edit this anytime you want if you think of something else.
Yeah, that's yeah, for sure. But it's for. I mean, I think we definitely at least hit it over the wall. We just got to see how many runs we get batted, and that's it.
Yep. Yep.
So well done, sir. Splendid.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna take this thing that I just typed up here, and I'm gonna kind of like send it out in an email to you, me, and Brian as like our meeting note or meeting minutes, I guess, and then so we can have it to pull up when we all get together.
Perfect.
On December 8th.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Look forward to it, brother. Thanks for your
Cool.
time.
Yep, it's been good. See
Okay.
you on December 8th.
See ya. Bye-bye.
All right, man.